up, YouTube? Welcome back to Clara Does Everything. Okay, what's up with Quincy Jones? I heard on the radio that Quincy Jones had done an interview where he said some really crazy things. So as I'm listening to them, you know, talk a little, they only talked about it a little bit on the radio. They were quoting things that he said, and I'm like, that didn't sound right. So I decided to look up the article, and I read the whole article, and I'm like, bruh, Quincy. Okay, a little Quincy. Okay, first let me say Quincy Jones is a legend. I mean, nobody can take that from him. The man is iconic. But I'm wondering about the timing of this interview, since he's about to turn 85 this year. Netflix is going to do release a documentary on him. Oprah's going to do this, long special on him, to, signify that he's turning 85, and I guess it's a retrospective on his career or whatever. But so it makes me question the timing of the interview. Is this just a publicity stunt to kind of get his name back out there with, everybody? Because, most people my age or around my age or older, of course they know who Quincy Jones is, but younger people may not. So maybe this is just an effort to get some publicity for the projects that are coming out. He's also got, I think he's working on, creating his own network. So I think that mentions something about that in the article. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into some things that he said. Okay, first of all, he speaks about people. I have a problem with the fact that he talks about people who are no longer here to defend themselves. You're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but okay. And the article is on vulture.com, and we both know, everybody knows vultures feed on dead things. So I guess it's appropriate that if you're going to talk about people who can't defend themselves because they're dead, let's do it on vulture.com. Anyway, the title is In Conversation, Quincy Jones, and the subtitle is The Music Legend on the Secret Michael Jackson, His Relationship with the Trumps, and the Problem with Modern Pop. Okay. He starts off, the first couple of quotes you see in the article say, "All I've ever done is tell the truth. I've got nothing to be scared of, man." And then he starts talking about all these crazy things. Okay. Let me see. Some of the first questions are about Michael Jackson, of course, because that's like one of the top people he ever worked with, where he accuses Michael Jackson of stealing songs from people. Why would you do that? Why would you say that? He says that it says he stole a lot of songs, and that Michael Jackson was greedy man, greedy. Don't stop till you get enough. Greg Gaines wrote the C section. Michael should have given him 10% of the song, wouldn't do it. Michael been gone a long time. Leave the man alone. Leave the man alone. Why? What is the point of making an accusation like that? And I'm sure his family is not appreciating you coming out and saying something so crazy like that. And then he says some things about the Clintons, and the interviewer says, "You seem to know a lot." And he says, "I know too much, man. What's something you wish you didn't know?" And his response is, "Who killed Kennedy?" Really? You know who killed Kennedy. And then he says, basically that it was a Chicago mobster, and that Frank Sinatra had something to do with. Come on now. Come on. Frank Sinatra? Okay. He's asked, what were your first impressions of the Beatles? And I'm just going to read the first line. That they were the worst musicians in the world. The Beatles. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. The article is really long, so I'm not doing everything. If you want to read the whole article, go to vulture.com. I'll put the link below. This right here, come on now. Come on, Quincy. This what happens when old people are not getting enough attention. You have that old person in your family who, when you're not calling them enough or coming by to see them enough, they'll call you and tell you something outrageous to make you come over.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Come on, Quincy. Okay. But he did happen to make a couple of good points where he says, if you could, okay, the interviewer asks him, if you could snap your fingers and fix one problem in the country, what would it be? And his response was racism. I've been watching it a long time, the 30s to now. We've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. The South has always been effed up, but you know where you stand. The racism in the North is disguised. You never know where you stand. That's why what's happening now is good, because people are saying they are racist who didn't used to say it. Now we know. That is actually a really good point. The interviewer says, what's stirred everything up? Is it all about Trumpism? His response, it's Trump and uneducated rednecks. Trump is just telling them what they want to hear. I used to hang out with him. He's a crazy MFer, limited mentally, a megalomaniac, narcissistic. I can't stand him. I used to date Ivanka, you know. You used to date who? Quincy's about to be 85. I believe Ivanka is in her 30s. You used to date who? Okay. And he says this happened 12 years ago when I guess she was in her 20s? Early to mid 20s? Okay. Say it, and then he says something about, you know, she had the most beautiful legs or whatever, that she was so fine. I'm like, come on now. Ivanka? Okay, I would like to hear what Ivanka has to say about that. She is here to defend herself. What would your, okay, he says, the interviewer says, would your friend Oprah be a good president? This right here, okay. I don't think she should run. She doesn't have the chops for it. If you haven't been governor of a state or the CEO of a company or a military general, you don't know how to lead people. Oprah doesn't know how to lead people? Are we talking about Oprah Winfrey? Or is this, because it doesn't say Winfrey, so are we talking about another, oh, is this Oprah Johnson he talking about? Oprah Winfrey doesn't know how to lead people. I think he's talking about Oprah Johnson that lived down the street and around the corner. Because Oprah Winfrey knows how to lead people. Oprah Winfrey. Okay. And the interviewer says she's the CEO of a company. Of a few of them. Okay. And then Quincy says, a symphony conductor knows more about how to lead than most business people. More than Trump does. He doesn't know ish. Someone who knows about real leadership wouldn't have as many people against him as he does. He's an effing idiot. Okay, he asked you about Oprah. He didn't ask you about Trump. Why you keep bothering Trump? I don't like Trump either, but goodness gracious. Okay. Then he goes on to talk about jazz and Coltrane and, you know, the history of, well, I guess what he feels is good music. And then the interviewer says, do you hear the spirit of jazz in pop today? And his response is, and I'm going to jump around a little bit. His response is, no, people gave it up to chase money. When you go after Ciroc vodka and Fat Farm and all that ish, God walks out of the room. It's just loops, beats, rhymes, and hooks. What is there for me to learn from that? There ain't no effing songs. The song is the power. The singer is the messenger. The greatest singer in the world cannot save a bad song. If you don't have a great song, it doesn't matter what else you put around it. So apparently he's not too crazy about today's music. And then the interviewer asks him, well, who's doing good work? And he mentions some of the people. I agree with this one. His response is Bruno Mars, Chance the Rapper, Kendrick Lamar. I like where Kendrick's mind is. He's grounded. Chance too. And the Ed Sheeran record is great. Sam Smith, he's so open about being gay. I love it. Mark Ronson is someone who knows how to produce. So, I mean, I guess the rest of y'all ain't doing nothing because those are the people he likes right now. Now he gets into I think one of the most inflammatory comments in the entire interview, where he starts talking about Marlon Brando. And he says Marlon Brando used to go cha-cha dancing with us. He could dance his ass off. He was the most charming MFer you ever met. He'd F anything with an exclamation point. He'd F a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye. So he's basically saying that Marlon Brando had sex with these men. Huh?
I beg your pardon? I'll slap you in the mouth with my...
The interviewer says, he slept with them? How do you know that? And he says, come on, man. He did not give a F. You like Brazilian music? Now, that's another thing I noticed throughout the interview. It seemed like every time he told what I thought was a lie, he would follow it up with a question that totally changed the subject. So I'm, this cold cracker. He's something going on in this interview. The interviewer says, are you religious? And he says, no, man. The Catholics have a religion based on fear, smoke, and murder. And then, I guess, I'm sorry if you're Catholic, Quincy ain't feeling you. He says he's not religious at all, and he thinks religion is effed up. On the subject of money, the interviewer asks, when did you start to make serious money? And then he says, when I started producing after Leslie Gore, I was the first black vice president at a record label, Mercury, which was great, except that meant they didn't pay me for producing her. You know how they do. You know your country. But after that, in the 70s, when I started producing for other artists, and then with Michael, of course, that made me a lot of money. And big money came from TV producing. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that was huge for me. Mad TV was on for 14 years. That syndication money is great, man. So, he's sitting on a pile of money from all of that. And the final question is, what's the most ambitious thing you have left to do? And he says, Quest TV. Everybody is excited about it. It's going to be a musical Netflix. It's the best music from every genre around the world. So if kids want to hear something great, it'll be right there for them. I can't believe I still get to be involved in things like this. I stopped drinking 2 years ago. That's a clue for where, I stopped drinking 2 years ago, and I feel like I'm 19 years old. He's 84. I've never been so creative. I can't tell you, man. What a life. Quincy Jones' family is... Where your family at? Where's your family? You're not getting enough attention. Hug your loved ones. If you got somebody old in your family, give them a call. Go visit them. Don't have them out here making up crazy stories about people. Don't speak ill of the dead. That's another point. That bothers me. If you got dirt on me, if you got something to say about me, say it while I'm here to defend myself. Put it in the comments. I take it. I take it. Don't do it after I'm dead. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you talk about me after I'm dead, I'm coming back. I'm going to come back and haunt you. Michael Jackson should come back and moonwalk on his forehead all day long until he issues an apology. Because I'm going to come back and haunt you. You're going to roll over in the bed in the morning and I'll be sitting there like this. What was that? What'd you say? What was that you said? Okay. Because you were public about the lie you told about me. I need a public apology. I'm going to be in your face all day long until you issue a public apology. You're going to roll over. I'm going to be like this.